So this is the engine that's supposed to save my orange 350Z. The only problem is it's still inside the smashed up silver one. So I gotta figure out a way to get the whole engine and gearbox out, and it's not ideal because I'm working on gravel. It's due to be raining today, but fingers crossed, this is gonna be a big step forward in the rebuild and not a complete disaster. Let's not waste any time, let's just crack on and get to it. My only hope of saving one of my Z's is to get the engine and transmission out in one go. After removing the gearbox and the transmission brace, I'm just praying this thing is gonna come out. Okay, straps are on, engine mounts are off, transmission braces are off. Let's hook up the crane and fingers crossed we can pull this engine out. It's the moment of truth. Let's see if this works. I think it's looking like we're free. Engine mounts are up. That side as well. Everything underneath is looking disconnected. And let's just have a look at the gear shift. I think that has now pretty much gone all the way through. We're getting there, we're getting there. Not out of the woods yet. Okay, I've had a look. I think it's the prop shaft that's binding it. So, let me just show you inside the car again. Just removed this little rubber casing. You can see the gear lever right there. You see, that's the prop shaft. So, let's get underneath, disconnect that, move it to the side, and this should be able to come out. It's looking pretty clear from the back. See, transmission's coming out as well. Let's double check our gear shifter. Oh yeah, it's gone. It's gone there. You can just see the tip of it. And it's off the prop shaft. So this thing is ready to be pulled out. Let's keep going. I'm just gonna double check something because I've just noticed this looks like a fuel line, maybe, but that's connected. That's still connected onto the car. That's not coming off. I'm pretty sure I didn't have to do it on the other engine. This is a good thing about having two of them. You can compare. Oh, maybe I did disconnect. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot to disconnect that. Let me do that now. That was a close call. That's fine. Engine is virtually out. Engine is out, actually. Engine is out. Gearbox is still virtually out. I think it's just caught on the gear shift, so I think we just need to lift the engine up a little bit so then it tilts a bit further down so I can pull it out. And I need to get another piece of cardboard because this thing is heavy. I think engine's out. And there we have it. This engine and gearbox is finally out. And I just can't believe a couple of weeks ago I was doing this for the first time. But now it was a piece of cake. But as good as this feels, it really means nothing unless this engine and gearbox is good enough to go into the other car. The engine is finally out. Now I can say with 100% certainty, I am officially a 350Z expert. Whew. I have to say, I didn't want to say it before, just in case, you know, bad juju and everything, but this silver car, I thought it was going to be a lot harder to work on. The rust on the back end when I was removing it, check out the previous videos if you've missed it. It was outrageous, horrendous. So I thought the whole car was going to be like that, but most of the bolts actually managed to come out pretty easily. There wasn't really too much that was fighting me. It was just the exhaust bolts, but a couple of them snapped, but it was just fine. But finally managed to get this engine out. Now is the big task. What do we need to do next? We need to service this engine. So I'm going to change the spark plugs, do a couple of gentle mods as well. And then we can finally fit it into the orange 350Z. And then fingers crossed in this video, we can get a first start. So let's keep going. This engine was supposed to be the solution, so obviously the first thing I found was a problem. Not a massive problem, just a broken wire. So I'm just stripping back the plastic covering to expose the wires, then using a heat shrinking solder sleeve to connect the two together. Then just wrapping it up with some electrical tape just to protect everything, and hopefully I don't have to go back at this again. Now that the engine's out, here's the situation I'm in. I wanted to do some preventative maintenance, such as changing the spark plugs, inspecting a few bits. Notice that there's a tiny little bit of an oil leak around the valve cover, so whether I need to replace the valve gasket, maybe. But this is the situation. To do the spark plugs, I thought it would be a lot easier with the engine out. However, the straps that are holding the engine up are clearly covering all the coil packs, and it's going to be a lot harder. To put it onto my engine stand, I have to remove the gearbox. Now, I didn't really ideally want to move the gearbox because I was thinking, oh, maybe I could just take the engine out and just whack it into the orange car, because I just want to get that one running as quickly as possible. But I think the smartest call is to take the gearbox off, because that way I can also inspect the clutch, because if I just whack it into the car, it's going to be a lot harder, I think. So I think the main thing for now is take the gearbox off, inspect it, put it onto the engine stand, then we can start doing some spark plugs. Let's get to it. To separate the gearbox, the first thing I did was start disconnecting the wiring harness, and I figured this was a good place to start, because clearly I know what I'm doing and I'm not just winging it. The worry that I had, let me show you. So where this strap is, it's actually on the starter motor. And my worry is that when I remove the transmission bell housing bolts, one of them, well, two of them actually go into the motor. So one from back to front, the other from the front to the back. So if I undo these two bolts in order to remove the gearbox, the starter motor is going to come loose, and obviously the strap is holding it. So I think we're going to have to use couple of jacks just to secure everything so nothing drops and falls, because this is the good engine. Nothing can be damaged on this one. I'm not taking any risks. So I'm going to pop up some supports just to make sure that in case, for whatever reason, the starter moves when I remove these two bolts, which it likely will, this strap, which is under quite a lot of tension, in case if the starter does go upwards, the engine doesn't drop any further. So we're going to lower it down, support the gearbox. Once everything is secure, then we'll start undoing the bell housing bolts. I think that should do. That's secure, that's secure. So just in case this strap comes loose, at least the jack is there, and there's still another strap holding it as well. So next up, let's start removing the bell housing bolts. Oh, this is so much easier. Imagine doing this under the car. Absolute nightmare. Access was so much easier with this thing out of the car, but with every part that I remove, I'm so worried I'm going to find something that's going to derail this build. Okay, removed the wiring harness and all the bell housing bolts. So there should be 12 bolts. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's another 2 for an inspection cover, which I've removed. Those 2 right there. Transmission should be disconnected from the engine. There is still no movement, similar to the last one, but getting these bolts out and the harness was so much easier. It's probably took me about 15 minutes, whereas when I had to do it on the orange car, it probably took me about 6 hours. So this is a lot better to do it this way. Next thing, I'm just gonna start gently prying it apart, and hopefully this thing can disconnect, and then we can get this engine onto the engine stand. And there we go, right on cue, as expected. It is pissing it down. I don't understand this country. I mean, last week was a heat wave, this week, hurricane. Let's start splitting up the engine and transmission. I think it's starting to create a little bit of a gap. So I've tried to level it as best as I can, and there is a gap forming between the engine and transmission. So just gonna gently start pulling and prying back, but this weather, it's absolutely soaking. But never mind, let's crack on. Now bear in mind, on the previous car, I was trying to separate the engine and gearbox while it was still inside the car, and there was just no movement at all. Even with all this access, this is not an easy job to do. So it's pretty much out on this side. You can just make out, that's the dowel there. That one there, which I think is seized on the other side. There's a bit of a gap, but right where that dowel would be, I've sprayed a little bit of like penetrating oil as well, just to see if that might help. Clearly not. Now, even with all that pushing and prying, this thing was so stubborn. Yeah, we're getting there. There we go. It has separated. And nothing has fallen yet. Okay, let's try and pull this engine a bit further back. That's going to be the next challenge.
gearbox. Whew. There we go. Ha ha ha!
And look at that, I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere with these two separated. Now, I just need to remove the pressure plate, clutch, and the flywheel so I can attach the engine stand and then take a bit of a closer look at this engine and hopefully find no more problems.
I think this is a much better clutch than the other one. I'm not sure. This has definitely got a lot more life in it. I don't think this is OEM. So this must have been upgraded because the other one had Nissan on it and this one definitely doesn't have it. So that looks pretty good. Then next up is our, I think this is the pressure plate. So, oh, look at all that dust. Looks to be in pretty good condition, I think. A little bit of sort of heat cycles, but nothing too crazy. So I don't know, let me know. Let me know if you think I should upgrade this. But so far so good. Right, I got an idea. Because it's spinning, I'm gonna go onto the crank and then just put a breaker bar to hold it in place. Because if we hold the crank, then this should stop spinning. Let me do that. Gosh, these are tight. Crack those loose. Now let's ugga-dugga this bad boy. There we go. Whew. These things are heavy. So now that I've managed to separate the engine from the gearbox, I've had a look at the clutch and the flywheel. It doesn't look standard. Sorry, it does look standard. Now, all you Z guys, just let me know what you think, whether I should be upgrading or not to like a lightweight flywheel. I'm not too sure. I do definitely want to take this car drifting, but it's going to be like a road plus car. So let me know, drop a comment down below if you think I should be thinking about upgrading the clutch and flywheel. Okay, engine is finally on the engine stand. I'm running out of time today though, but I'm gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna do the spark plugs, a bit of maintenance on the car, on the engine, and then we'll start the transplant, pop it into the orange one. Yeah.
I don't think you normally have to remove the plenum to change the spark plugs, but because it looks like there is a valve cover gasket leak, figured now would be a good time to get it out of the way. Then I can remove the lower plenum, including the plenum spacer, which allows so much more air into the engine. It's just a couple of bolts holding it in, and once I get it out of the way, I can take a bit of a closer look at those valve covers.
So on closer inspection of this valve cover, so where there's a bit of an oil leak right there, you compare it to the other side, obviously very dirty, but this one's definitely been leaking oil. And I think it's been coming from right there as well, because it's quite wet underneath. So I was going to change just the valve cover gaskets, but I think I'm just going to change the valve covers as well, just to be sure. So let's keep stripping. Let's keep stripping it down.
Now I know it looks like I'm an absolute pro and know exactly what I'm doing, but I've never changed valve covers before. I have done spark plugs and it's fairly straightforward, just need to remove the coil packs, which you can see me doing here. They're only held in with a bolt each, so once you undo them you can just pull the coil packs out and that gives you good access to the spark plugs underneath. And once I removed the coil packs and moved the wiring to the side, there was just a few bolts holding the valve covers in. Once I released the valve cover and lifted it up, I was shocked with what I found.
Okay, that's looking very clean. Very, very clean. This is good. Wow, I'm actually quite impressed. You know, for about 100,000 miles, that's really not that bad. I mean, I've never seen one of these before, but I was definitely expecting a lot worse. But let's not get too excited too soon, because we still have to do the other side.
I was definitely not expecting to see it this clean under the valve covers, but I'm trying not to get too excited, so just removing the spark plugs and taking a bit of a closer look.
Now, I bought this tool a long time ago, and I've never had the opportunity to use it. I think now's the best time. Let me show you what it is.
So a while ago, I picked myself up a super cheap borescope that you can connect to your phone, and I never used it before, so I figured now would be a great opportunity to pop it inside the cylinders and have a look at the top of the pistons. But this is where I really need your help.
Right, I've got no idea if that's meant to be looking that way, but I think it should be okay. But if you guys do know, please drop a comment down below if it's something I should be looking out for.
So I decided to go for some Bosch Iridium spark plugs instead of the typical NGK, because I gotta be honest, the budget is tight. But Bosch is a pretty good brand, so I'm pretty sure they'll be absolutely fine. So once I pop them in, I just gotta torque them up to spec. Torquing up bolts always makes my heart sink because the last thing I want to do is snap them, especially spark plugs. Then I just use a little bit of gasket maker in the corners to allow the new valve cover and the gaskets to sit in nicely. Once it's in place, just need to put the bolts back and tighten everything down nice and tight so then hopefully there's no oil leaks. And then the coil packs go back on, and then that's this side done. I just got to do the exact same thing on the other side. Once I take the spark plugs out on the other side of the engine, I can take a bit of a closer look at all of them, just to see if there's any warning signs or red flags. Unfortunately, they all just look a bit used. Although the spark plugs look okay, the valve cover is absolutely filthy and dripping in oil. There's definitely been a leak for a while, and I'm really holding my breath because I don't really know what to expect once I pull this valve cover off.
Ah, this side is looking clean as well.
Look at that, 2 for 2.
Managed to clean up all the mating surface. Now let's put the second valve cover on, and then we're going to change the spark plugs on this side as well, and then we're pretty much done on this side, at least with the valve covers and their gaskets. And then we've got a couple more things to do, but let's get this done first. Let's go.
So you guys know the drill by now, just doing the exact same thing. That's when I realized I made a bit of a mistake.
Alright, so I just realized the kit actually comes with fresh hardware. Now I have put them all on. These bolts do look a lot better. I think it'll be okay. So I'll probably just do it one at a time, so then it doesn't release. Obviously this one is just put on, so it's just about to cure. That one obviously has been on for about an hour, but I think it cures fully in 24 hours. So I think if I just do it quickly and just do one bowl at a time, I think it'll be okay. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Anyway, let me just crack on, because I think these will look a lot better, because these bolts are quite old and rusty. And obviously with the fresh new valve cover, we should use the fresh new hardware as well.
So as usual, some mistakes were made, but hopefully it was worth changing them. Hashtag worth it.
Okay, I think that looks a lot better. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so I've replaced the valve covers and the gaskets as well. Everything's tightened down, so hopefully that should fix that little bit of the oil leak. All that's left to do now is just put everything back together. But this is where we're going to start to do something a little bit different. Let me show you what I picked up. All right, so I picked up a whole kit of some upgraded red silicone hoses. This is to replace the old brittle rubber hoses. See, it's been in the car about 25 years, so they're cracked, split a few places, and hopefully this will add a little bit of color to the engine bay too, and not look too tacky. So let's just figure out which ones go where, and then get these all fitted and start putting everything back.
So I've repaired a couple of crash damaged cars before, but it was always with the goal of selling them on. But one of the hardest parts about doing that is that if you ever modify the cars, it's going to make it a lot harder to sell on, and you'll never get that money back. So at least with this one, I thought, let me put my own stamp on it, try and change things up a little bit, and make it a bit more my own. Now honestly, I don't know how I got myself in this situation where I have 2 broken cars sitting in my driveway and trying to figure out a way to make one good one out of 2. Now owning a 350Z has always been a dream, and I can't believe I have 2. I mean, they don't work yet, but I'm fighting to get at least one of them driving. These cars are iconic. From Need for Speed to Fast and Furious, these are incredible cars and I can't wait to drive them, if I can ever get it started. But to also be able to modify them is a real dream come true, and thank you all for all your support. And if you're enjoying the struggle as much as I am, please subscribe so you don't miss out.
Now, I'm so happy with the way that these red coolant hoses look. I definitely think it adds a nice bit of color to the engine, and hopefully it doesn't look too tacky. But I think it'll be a good addition. Now the next thing I need to do is try and remember how everything goes back together. I could troll through the hours of footage and figure it out, but I don't want to do that. But the good thing is I've got a second engine to use as a reference. And the good thing about this is there are some parts I want to take from this one and put it onto the other one. For example, this tensioner here looks far, far better, and it's not really as wobbly as the tensioner on the other car. The other thing I've noticed is this coolant line here. Okay, it's quite dirty, so it needs a bit of a cleanup, but the other one is very, very rusty. So I'll be removing this coolant line, removing the tensioner, and then figuring out, obviously, the routing of all the cables, just so I can match it up with the other car.
I guess the silver lining on having 2 broken cars is that I can use one as a parts car, but deep down I would love to have 2 Zs. I'm still not too sure about what to do with the smashed up silver one, so if you've got any ideas, drop a comment down below. Before I get this engine back into the orange one, I thought I should change the oil filter so I'm limiting how much rolling around on the ground I have to do.
So I was thinking, and I probably should have done this earlier, but I think it would be a good idea to actually clean up and paint this plenum, because it just doesn't look very nice. There is an engine cover, but it only really covers half of it, and I think it'll be worthwhile to definitely paint this. Now, I think the right way to do it would probably to remove it, mask everything up, and then paint it again, but I'm not going to do that, and there is a reason why. My worry is that, especially with the bolts, when I'm tightening them down, it might strip a little bit of the paint. So I'm just going to mask everything up, keep it nice and tidy so the paint doesn't get everywhere, and paint everything while it's still in place. So then that way, I paint over the bolts as well, and I can be sure that they won't be stripped of paint. So let's do that.
I think this plenum really lets down the look of this engine. So after a quick wash with some brake cleaner, I covered everything I didn't want painted and hit it with a coat of primer. And already it's looking so much better. then goes on a couple of coats of dark anthracite grey, and I'm so excited for the end result. Can't forget a bit of clear coat to protect it, and the difference is night and day. Now I'm over the moon with the way that this engine plenum looks. It's absolutely transformed the top of this engine. Now there isn't really much left to do to get this back into the car, but I'm afraid that's all the time I've got for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.